All right. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I got my windows open because it's like 80 degrees today in Western PA. So we must open the windows when we finally have sunshine. And the neighbor decided he was going to mow his grass. So lovely. Anyways, happy Wednesday. Today is literally the last possible day that you can qualify to rank advance for the pool of money for our Push to Diamond group. Also, if you qualified last month when we ran our March group, all of that money will actually be distributed tomorrow. So if we have hit our 6-week qualification mark, and then I'll go through that tomorrow. I'm going to check my spreadsheet. I'll do a little bit of updates. I'll probably send that all out on Friday morning. Then those of you that are pushing to rank advance today, so you can be part of today's pot, we'll have a little spreadsheet that comes out tomorrow. So lots of things happening. Also, lots of exciting opportunities with 2B Mindset. I hope you guys have really been leaning in and maximizing this launch. And the one thing that I want to say to you is, even if you felt like you kind of missed the boat and you didn't get excited about the 2B launch and you haven't talked enough about it, please don't say to yourself, like, I missed the opportunity, and kind of like move on with your life. Literally, when you purchase your 2B Mindset package, post about it. Now this becomes like, pretend like you are going through the 2B Mindset coach test group, and you're creating your story, and you're taking people on the journey, and you're documenting every single day or every single week your transformation. Whether it's a physical transformation, an emotional, a nutritional transformation, really taking people on the journey and constantly inviting them to try the program with you. That's going to help you gain new followers, new customers, and coaches. And I would highly encourage you to leverage the fact that when you sign up with the 2B Mindset package, you get to be a part of Alana's group. So that's something else I've really been talking up. And I went right on Alana's website, and she has, if you click on appointments, it talks about the cost of her services. And to do like an initial consultation is like $450. And then a 50-minute session with her is like $200 and so on. So that's a great leveraging point as you're talking to your prospects, like giving them the value of what they're getting for participating in this group. So with that being said, I think I've like annoyed everybody. Even my husband was like, God, Instagram stories is so boring right now. Everybody's talking about 2B Mindset. He's like, I'm just staying off of social media. So I hope you guys are blowing it up and sharing it every single day, like somebody else trickles in and asks for more information. So it's really exciting. This makes it easy for you to grow your business, plug maybe some holes if you've got some inactives, or re-engage people that have kind of gone flat in the business. It's just a really exciting time. So with that being said, I am going to turn it over to Moira. She is an Elite 10 coach this year, and she is an incredible leader. She's a former business owner, and now she's running an incredible Beachbody business, and she's just got, great business mindset, strategic in the way that she does things, and is really growing by leaps and bounds. And, I like to give you guys different perspectives on how to grow your business, because I think it's good to pick and choose from what you hear each speaker talk about, and then be able to kind of adapt and fine tune your strategy to help you really level up in your leadership. So with that being said, Moira, go ahead. I'll let you take it over. You can introduce yourself, and away we'll go.
Hey guys, it is such an honor to be on this call, like above and beyond. I mean, huge honor. You guys are so ridiculously lucky to have Melanie lead you. You know that, I'm sure. And what we were talking about is like how to build leaders through connection, and how to build those relationships. And I feel like there's so many things I want to say, but I want to kind of start back from the beginning and tell you guys that I came into this as a business owner. And I think that's really important, not because I had any skills, like zip, zilch, nada, nothing. Like I didn't like come in here and know how to run a business. I mean, I owned a Pilates studio, and then I owned a cold pressed juice company. They weren't like, Fortune 500 things. But I came into it, what I came into it with more than any skill set was a set of eyes that I think is radically different than most coaches. And that is, you got like the business I had right before this. We took out $100,000 loan. I had to meet with lawyers and DHEC and hire employees. And, what went into that? I mean, I worked 40, 50, 60 hours a week for a year before the business opened. And when the business opens, it starts to finally make $1, and that money is just paying your expenses. So you're looking at a company like that I had, working 50, 60 hours a week for 2 to 3 years without ever putting $1 in my pocket. And it was a super successful business. Like that's what happens when you have small businesses. And what it did for me, this cold pressed juice company, I wanted to create a brand. I wanted to create community. I wanted to build relationships. I wanted to get people healthy. And really what I had to deal with was employees not showing up, juice machines breaking. I mean, literally things like something's wrong with the juice machine. And then we have to hire somebody to go look at it. And then we find out you burn the motor out. And I'm like, well, how much is a new motor? $20,000. Okay, let's just stroke a check out of our pocket, like out of my pocket, to buy a new motor for the juice machine because we can't produce juice without the juice machine. The amount of stress that I was under, the amount of family dinners that I had to get up and walk away from and leave to go into the business because something was broken, someone didn't show up, it just chipped away at my sanity, at my family, at my marriage. I was like becoming unglued with the level of stress. And then the financial things started to really have implications. We borrowed against our home to put more money in the business because I always say when you have a business, if it's doing really well, it requires more money. And if it's not doing really well, it requires more money. It always requires more money and more time. So when I came into this, and I didn't jump in with both feet. Like I was the biggest skeptic in the world. I was a challenger for 14 months. You were never going to get me to sign up and rope me into that whole coach pyramid scheme. Like it took me a long time. But when I finally made the decision, I was just blown away at almost not being able to comprehend the fact that I don't produce my product, I don't package my product, I don't research my product, I don't employ customer service. You guys, every time, and I say this all the time, every time I get to call coach relations or tell somebody to call customer service, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't pay them. Like, how is this a thing that I get to earn multiple 6-figure income, one day 7-figure income, and I pay $15.95 a month? It's just crazy. And of course, the trash man decided to just come right down the road right now too. And my husband owns his own business. So when he the other day said, I've got to buy a new dump truck, and I'm like, well, how much is that? He's like, it's like $250. I'm like, $250,000. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go pay my $15.95 and keep crushing my business. And so I wake up and show up every single day with ridiculous gratitude. I have never once uttered a word of complaint about Shakeology, about a customer service issue, about anything about the company. I worship the ground they walk on, because when I get a ridiculous bonus check every quarter, in my world, that should be the loan payment I'm making every quarter. I mean, honestly, I just don't think people understand what they have because we don't even pay to really come into this. So that's a huge piece of it. But what I'll say, and I love kind of backtracking to my first literal 6 months in the business to a year, because it's probably where maybe a lot of you guys are. And if not, that's okay too, because I constantly try to go back to, what did I do in that first 6 months and year? What happened? Why did this succeed so much? And after my first full year, so about a year and a half into coaching, I ended with 7 diamonds. And I thought I did terribly because I thought, I tried to help probably 50 people become coaches, and 43 of them didn't make it or quit. And I only had 7, because diamond is not much. Diamond is just a teeny tiny little, step on the ladder. And so I really, truly, because I'm always kind of head down, just do my thing, I really, truly didn't think that I did anything well. And then corporate, and people started asking me, how did you rank advance 7 diamonds? And I was like, is that good? I didn't even realize that. So be careful of what your story is, because my story from the beginning was when I hit diamond, probably in like 60-ish, 90-ish days, like nothing spectacular. I just did the work. I think anyone can get to diamond in 60 to 90 days if they just do what we say. Like that's where the disconnect is. You have to do all of the things and not what you want to do. You just have to check every box and you will get 1 + 1 = 2. Like it's just pretty much how it is. There is a formula to this. It's not a guessing game. And so I was transformed by coaching. I was transformed by personal development, this community. I had big dreams. I was waking up every single day, super fired up and excited. Like I literally went from like broken, stressed out, hating my life every single day, marriage struggling, to like, you know, I felt like I went in the telephone booth as like Superman. Some of you might be too young for that, but like, you know, when he like spins around and he comes out as Superman or whatever. And I was just brought back to life. And I had this fire to like give everybody what I had. And I wanted it for everybody because as a mom, like we're surviving, you know? And so I thought, well, gosh, if I went diamond in 60, 90 days, and this is the dream of all dreams, like it's the best gig ever, why would everyone on the planet not want to do this? And I literally thought that Melanie must have over like, I thought she must have like 300 diamonds to be the #1 coach at Beachbody. Because like 15, I mean, granted, Superstar Diamond was not the easiest thing in the long run that I've gotten, but my thought process was, why in the world would this be hard to find 15 people to do what I'm doing? Like that should be kind of pretty freaking easy. And so that's what I showed up to my business. That's the mindset I had every day. And so what happened? And this is what I had to go back and like really dig into. I was like, what happened? Why did I have those 7 girls? I know those girls aren't going anywhere. They're still here almost 3 years later. What happened? Like, how did that happen? And I'll tell you exactly how it happened. Most of them were acquaintances of mine, you know, friends of friends of friends. Somebody saw something on social media and they were like just drowning in self-loathing, like sign me up for your challenge group. What happened was their lives changed dramatically. And when I looked at the 50 coaches I tried to help my first year and the 7 that were still standing, the 7 that were still standing as diamonds were not the coaches that I thought would make rockstar Beachbody coaches. Lots of people came to me that had fitness backgrounds and really big warm markets and maybe a little bit of a brand, and they didn't make it because they tried to put their Beachbody coach hat on and be a Beachbody coach and make an income. And these 7 girls are the furthest things from like what you would envision as rockstar coaches. And now they're my star diamonds. Their lives radically changed as a result of coming into the challenge. They lost weight, they gained energy, they gained a community, they started feeling better. I mean, their lives transformed. And here's what happened. They were like, oh my God, my girlfriend wants to do it. And I was like, well, what? You should just sign up as a coach and like, we'll sign him up with you. I don't need to sign him up. And then like, you know, I told them a little bit about like, they were of course blown away. Like, Moira, are you joking? I could never be a coach. No one believes that they could be a coach. I was a Pilates instructor with a business background. And I really, truly, truly thought my coach was insane for thinking that I could be a good Beachbody coach. I mean, no one thinks that they can do what we do. And so I gave them that belief and encouragement, but it wasn't even that. It was just like, girl, you're already doing it. Like you're posting recipes in the group, you're posting your accountability. That's all we do as coaches. So sign your friends up and then just be their cheerleader. And you know what? If you want to post recipes on like Tuesday, Thursday, like Saturday, that would be awesome. That can be kind of your job. And she was like, okay, great. And then another one would come in around the same time. Same thing would be happening. And they would be really into personal development. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you like choose what book we're going to read this month and you can share about it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And she was like, okay, like so honored. She had a job in the challenge group. She had like a role to fulfill besides changing diapers. You know, she felt like she had ownership. And so there was a crew of us, you guys. There was probably 6 or 7 of us total that totally organically just started running this group together in those first few months. And we just had so much fun. We were texting every night about like, how can we make it better? How can we do this? Like it was a total passion project. yes, we were learning about the business and I was teaching them about Emerald and things like that. And like, they were like, "Ooh, Success Club. Okay, let me try to get one more person so I can get into Success Club. Wait a second, that girl just got Success Club 10. I'm going to try to get 3 more people." You know, and so when you have a group, and this is where I think the magic happens, when you have a tight-knit group of people, they like momentum builds momentum more than anything that I do as a leader, more than anything. And what happened was, so I started coaching in July. So they all kind of came in like August, September-ish, and we started running this challenge group together. The one girl that literally everybody knows her as, her claim to fame is like, I hate working out and I love junk food. And she's really thin naturally. Don't we all hate those people? And she came to life and she was running with this coaching thing. She was super excited and she hit diamond first. And everyone was like, "Oh no, she didn't." Like, I celebrated the heck out of her. I took her out to the spa for the day. I was so excited for her. And then everyone else was like, you know, just scrambling behind her to not be left behind because they all knew each other. They all were really closely knit. Now that was in my hometown. Not everybody has that, but I'll tell you what that looks like now. So I onboarded 4 coaches in the last, you know, there was like a group of 4 or 5 girls that came in the last week or two. And again, I'm always trying to get better at my systems. So there are a lot of systems, but they're a little loose. And so I was like, with one of them, they were asking me about a GSR call because it's in the welcome letter. I was like, yeah, let's do it Sunday night at 8. And then I was like, wait, this person and this person and this person need to be doing a GSR call. So let's get everybody on a GSR call. And so I got these brand new coaches just a few nights ago on a group GSR call. I don't do that with everybody. Lots of times I do it one-on-one because you can actually build a lot more relationship with somebody when it's one-on-one. Most of my GSR calls, I end up crying. They end up crying. Like, we feel like we're bonded for life. And that is key. You can't get on a GSR call. And I will tell you, my first half of my GSR call is like business. Like, this is how our challenge groups work. This is what Success Club is. This is how you get into Success Starters. This is what Emerald Rank is. These are your goals. We're going to get you in Success Club. You're going to be an Emerald coach at the end of this 30 days. This is when our coach training is like, da, 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 da. And then I say, okay, I want to go kind of take this in a different direction. And I want to ask you, like, what keeps you up at night? Like, what keeps you up at night? Like, what is your stress in life? Like, let me get to know you. And we talk for another however long, and that's when they usually cry, and I usually cry, and I really connect. And I tell them to go back after we get off the phone and to write down their vision. And I get them really clear on the fact that this is the opportunity of their lifetime. That I got that at some point after a long 18 months. I finally understood that the opportunity to do anything and everything I ever wanted to do in my life was Beachbody. And that's a really big light bulb moment. And that I can have all the money and all the time freedoms that I want to have in my life if I get really clear on what kind of life I want to create. And I look at that vision every single morning. You guys, I did it this morning. I read my vision for my life, and it's always changing, and it's not, I read my vision to my team at my diamond retreat this year, and it was funny because they were like, "Is that it?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's it." And they were like, "Oh, I thought it was going to be some like beautifully poetic, incredible, like leave us all in tears thing." And I was like, "No, it's literally like just bullet points of like what I want, but it speaks to my soul and it gets me fired up." And what it does is it puts in my vision right in front of my eyes every single day why I am working so hard and why I need to walk through the fear and invite that person and why I need to pick up the phone and have that phone call that I don't want to have. And it gets me to do the work every single day. And so I tell them to go write that vision down. And you guys, like, this is what builds relationship. And I'll tell you what happened organically on that GSR call on Sunday night. I started talking, somehow free groups came up. Usually I don't talk about free groups on a GSR call. But I was like, well, you guys, it would be perfect, like buddy up. And now they're like all on a thread, brand new coaches a week into the business, like running free groups with random strangers that they've never met, building relationships. And when they build relationships with you and with the team, they're not going to be as likely to just drop off the face of the earth. I've had one diamond quit. Well, now two. I've had, but for a long time it was one, and it was just the mom, like it was clear as day. She never got in the middle of the bed of the team. She wasn't getting on the team calls. She was listening to the recordings. She wasn't running free groups with other people. She wasn't buddying up and running challenge groups with another coach on the team. When we were in Mexico, I was on the bus with a very a coach of mine that lives out in San Francisco, and I don't see or hear that much from her because she's got 3 children and a full-time job where she travels. And we were on the bus together over to the Hard Rock, and she got teary-eyed and she was just like, Moira, when you come into this, like once you come into this, you can just never leave. And I was like, and now you need to go pay that forward. That's how I feel. And she meant our team, but she also just meant she was all inspired from Beachbody as a whole and being on that trip, you know? And that's what we need to give people, is that connection to the company, that connection to our community, that connection to your team, but the community as a whole. I mean, I only have one elite coach. I'll have more this year, but she actually said recently, she was like, if I walked away from this, I would lose everything in my life. Like I'd lose all my friendships. I'd lose my network. I'd lose my support system. I would lose the people that I laughed my ass off with. Like it's just everything. And so you have to create that everything. And it's not rocket science. You just build relationships with your PS. You partner people up. You create pods. You create message threads. In my hometown, we go out a lot, like a month or 6 weeks goes by and I'm like, we haven't done anything. And here's the irony of that situation. So don't feel envious of that. Whenever I do a coach get together in my hometown, I definitely have other coaches that get all, angry because they don't live here. And I was like, don't go there, because my coach lives in San Diego, 3,000 miles away. And she had a beach day when I was a brand new coach. And I felt the same way. If I could totally rock this coach thing, if I just lived in San Diego and I could go to a beach day and hang out with all my team, this would be so much easier. Well, you guys, there was no one in this town doing this except for me. Well, there were some really people that I probably wouldn't want to be hanging out with. And so I created it. And I created it with those first 2, 3, 4 people. You guys, why don't you come over today? We can work on our challenge group together. And they just came over to my house and we sat around our dining room table. I wasn't even a diamond coach at that time. You can create it so small. That's when you do create it. It's way harder to create it now that my team's so big. I'm like, let's do a team dinner. And they're like, there's 42 people. I'm like, oh, shit. This is really difficult. So build those relationships with your PS coaches, but really, really create those opportunities for them to bond together and build relationships with each other. Encourage them to run their challenge groups. That's the first thing I do. I let my coaches come in and be the apprentice coach in my challenge group. And I just say, hey, you're brand new. You're bringing on some people. Why don't you share recipes Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Why don't you just do an ab challenge every day, an extra ab challenge? And I kind of give them a job that they have to fulfill. And that is a really good indicator of whether they're going to be a good coach, because I give jobs to people constantly and they never do them. And I'm like, okay, kind of shows your colors there a little bit. I was beyond honored when Meredith, my coach, asked me to do that. I'll never forget being at a soccer game 30 minutes from home, and I was just sitting on the sidelines and I'd forgotten to do whatever I said I was going to do. And I screamed in a panic, grabbed my purse. My husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I gotta go. And I ran home and drove 1,000 miles an hour, because that's how I show up when I tell somebody I will show up, And so the people that take that apprentice job seriously are probably going to be your good coaches. But I very quickly move them out, and it's never an easy breakup and they're terrified. But I say, Why don't you post on our team page and see if anybody wants to start a challenge group? Like, buddy up with somebody. Don't do this alone. I am not telling you to do this alone. Don't go start your own challenge group. That would be hard and a lot of work and kind of lonesome and just not fun. And as soon as this job gets not fun, people quit. And so you have to find the fun in it, and you have to remind them of the fun in it, and you have to create the opportunities for them to develop those friendships and those partnerships on your team. So, that is truly, I think, and then I think when you get these diamond coaches like I've gotten, I was really faced with like this. I remember it was just last year at Summit. I was going for top 10. I think I was like a 10-star diamond or something. And I was really feeling the pressure of like leadership, that big scary word. And I don't know who said it or where I heard it. Somewhere at Summit, somebody said, the only thing leadership is doing the things and then turning around and showing your team exactly what you did. And so it was a 2 millimeter shift for me, which brought me from preaching and teaching, which I can do. I kind of just fall into that, to actually showing them. And what I did when we came home from Summit, I got all my diamonds and I said, you guys, what I want you to do, everybody pick a day. I put up a little sign up sheet and I said, everyone's going to pop in once a day, like one diamond a day for the next whatever weeks. And you're going to go live and you're going to go through exactly what you did. Meaning I woke up at 5, I did my prayer and meditation and my morning time from 5 to 5:30. I shot my Energize. I worked out from 5:30 to 6. From 6 to 6:30, I posted my accountability in my challenge groups. From 6:30 to 8, I was present for my family and I got my kids ready for school and we laughed and we played and we did this. I dropped my kids off and I plugged my personal development in for the 10-minute drive home. And then when I got home, I checked into my back office and I checked my sponsorship drill down to make sure all my things were, like the more detailed, the better. And then I went into my free group that I ran last month and I went to the member list and I invited all of those members to my upcoming challenge group. And then I went to my nose list from February and I invited all of those people to my challenge group, like everything. Every little teeny tiny thing. And the reason why this really worked twofold, you're building leaders. Like your leaders that don't feel like leaders are leading. And all they're doing is regurgitating exactly what they did in their day. And so they feel like a leader, but for the team, I as the leader could tell them exactly what I did. I'm a full-time coach. I have probably 50% of my team that would get irritated and not want to listen to me because they can't identify with the hours that I have to work this business. But when my sister-in-law goes live and she works a full-time job and has kids and talks about the power pockets and how she dials that in and what she does in the morning and what she does on her lunch hour and how she pre-schedules all of her posts, that really speaks to a lot of the team. So developing those leaders and giving them the opportunity and just asking them and, saying, this is what we're doing. I need you to do this. I know for me too, we always have our new diamonds speak on our team call every week. And when I say speak, it's like 5 or 10 minutes. Basically, tell us how you got to diamond. And so often they are like terrified and nervous and tripping over their words and like literally shaking in their boots. And not that I want that for them, but like that is, you have to kind of push people past their comfort zone and give them those opportunities. When I was asked to speak at leadership this last year, I was like, granted, most people would be honored. I was like, but like, you couldn't have asked me to do something that I would never want to do in my entire life, ever, 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 ever. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to speak at leadership. I'm the baby coach. Like, this is my first time attending leadership. I sure as hell don't want to speak to the leaders of this company. But I was like, okay, thank you for the honor. And we learn as we do. That's something that's just been really coming up for me in the last couple of days too. Is like, I was talking to, I'm doing a little diamond push. And I was talking to the girls today and I was like, you've gotten good at inviting. Like, you've gotten comfortable with that. You're hitting Success Club. You're in this training for a reason. But a month or 2 or 3 ago, you had the same questions. Like, how do I invite? What do I say? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to pick up the phone. I don't know. Can you give me a script? And now you're having the same exact thing with coaching. I don't know how to talk about the coach opportunity. What do I say? Who do I invite? How do I do this? I'm like, it's just a learn as you go business, and look at your track record. You had the same experience with challengers and you got good at it. It got easy. And now we're talking about inviting to the coach opportunity, and you're not going to get good at it by talking to people about it, by getting on training after training about it, by reading book after book about like building your self-confidence. Like all of that is necessary. But the way you get good at anything is just by doing. I hate public speaking. Public speaking is the perfect example. I should have like a weekly power call with Melanie to teach me. But I literally went to corporate at one point and I was like, so I need some training in this. Like, can you please tell me how to do this? And they were just like, yeah, no, we don't really do that. Like you just get up there. And I was like, what? Like someone teach me, someone show me, someone give me the confidence. I'm terrified. And I just had to go do it. I just had to go do it. But you know what gets me to do it? And this is important. Don't miss this. It's that vision. It's that vision for what I want, for not necessarily even me, but my family. What I want for my children, what I want for my marriage, what I want for the women on my team. If I really want all those things, and I do, then I've got to walk through the fear of getting up on that stage and presenting. You've got to walk through that fear of inviting coaches. You've got to walk through all of that scary stuff, posting on social media, being vulnerable. You just have to do it. But I did not get through, and I'm always asked, like, how have you done what you've done in such a short amount of time? Like twofold. I got really clear on my vision, and I read it every day. And I leaned into a network and a team of people that had my back. When it got scary, they encouraged the heck out of me, and they believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. But if I had just sat kind of all wrapped up in myself and not leaned into them, I wouldn't be where I am. So I don't know, Melanie, do you have questions? I feel like your mind's probably swirling, and I would love to like speak to any of your thoughts.
Sure. Okay. So guys, what questions do you guys have? I was kind of taking some notes and writing a few things down that, we've talked a lot about the invite process and running sneak peeks and enrolling coaches. And there are a lot of coaches that have advanced in rank in this group, over the last like almost 2 months now. And I like the way you just approach it. You don't overthink it. It's literally like, I know that this scares the crap out of me, but I have to do it anyways. And you push yourself, where I think a lot of people, they talk themselves out of doing the things that are actually gonna move them forward. So I think that's really important, like that your mindset is really key in that. Do you have any like things that you do that kind of have helped you, or do you feel like that's just your natural personality, is to just do it anyways?
No, not at all. I mean, it's so not my personality. I think, getting in that morning process time, like if I don't have my morning time to anchor me and to really get my thoughts going in a good direction, I'm crazy, and I can be negative, and I can be scared, and I cannot take action. And for me, in the very beginning, that was Beachbody as a company saying 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. Read personal development for 10 minutes before you look at your phone, before you open your computer. Give yourself 10 minutes. And that was like this just mind-blowing experience to me, because you guys, I've read like spiritual personal development for 20 years. So I was like, personal development, like, come on. But this was a different genre. This was like more applicable, more concrete. I could actually put things into action. And just that little shift in my mindset, and then starting my day off like more grateful, more positive, seeing things differently. I kid you not, if I go 3 days without having a morning process in place, even when I'm on vacation, like I am just stressed, and like I'm just not grounded, and I'm not as happy, and I'm not seeing the world through the lens that I need to see it through. Mm-hmm. So that morning time is key. Something else that I put, and I actually just had my diamond pushers do this. And I said, I'm keeping you accountable. Well, I said, I'm not keeping you accountable. You need to take initiative in your business. But I said, I'm giving you this task to do every single day for the next 4 weeks. And, I've kept a gratitude journal for umpteen years. It kind of lost its luster for me because I've been keeping a gratitude journal for like literally 20 years on and off, and it just wasn't like really working. And so I shifted it to, I've heard it kind of termed a couple different things, either like a wins binder, a book of wins, or I like to call it a book of proof. And I do that sometimes twice a day, always once a day. I track it to make sure I'm actually writing in my book of proof. Mm-hmm. And I write down any win, whether a challenger wrote me a text message that their life was changing, that their body was changing, whether a random person reached out to me about wanting to get on board a challenge pack, you know. And here's the irony of this. I sat down this morning and I was like, I think I was stressed because of the launch and the half day and the field trip and all this other stuff. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't have anything. When you're in a negative headspace, like you don't get the ahas, you don't get the solutions, you don't get in the flow. I sat down and I was like, I don't really have anything to write. And then I remembered that I walked through the fear of reaching out to one of my husband's business or friends yesterday to see if his business wanted to do a challenge. And super scary. No part of me wanted to make that phone call. None. I don't know anything about his business. It was a completely random phone call, but I felt the nudge to do it. And so I picked up the phone. Little did I know he has like studied with some of the most like well-known personal development people out there. It's totally his jam. We ended up talking for like an hour. Little did I know he has a radio show whose guest just canceled, and he asked me to be on the radio show tomorrow. And I'm sitting there this morning because I'm stressed, going like, I don't have anything to write in this thing. And I was like, oh, wait a second. That was a little bit of a win, you know, just a little bit of a win. But everything, it doesn't have to be big wins like that. And who knows what's going to come out of that radio thing. But like every success club point, every team, every coach on your team that's like, oh my gosh, I just onboarded somebody I'm so excited about. That goes in my wins, like every single win. And what happens is when I open it every day to find something to write, I glance over and I look at all the stuff that's happened in just the last 2 to 3 days. And I see everything that's working. Because this business, it's so easy to just like in an instant get knocked off and feel like it's not working and it's just not happening. And this is so hard. And when you're in that mindset, like the business doesn't work. It just doesn't happen. You've got to stay in that winning, positive mindset. As cheesy as that sounds, it's just how it is, truly.
Yeah, it really is. That positive mindset. And then the vision, you know, a lot of leaders will say, you know, I don't know how to share with my team why we're moving in the direction that we're moving, or why we should push to be a premier team, an elite team, a star diamond team, you know. So do you have any like suggestions for how you have communicated your way, what you've wanted to do, or your vision statement to your team?
Yeah. So when I got really clear, like, you know, my vision is just kind of like bullet points of like 2 random pieces of paper with a lot of scribble on it. But I also came up with like a mission statement for myself. And that made me think I really want to come up with a mission statement for the team. And so ironically, I was like, what's my mission statement going to be for the team? And then I was like, wait a second. Supposed to be the team mission statement, not my mission statement. So I went to them and I like threw out some ideas, and this was a couple years ago, but we kind of crafted that together. So I think I sent it out to my diamonds at that time and was just like, what are your thoughts? And they were like, oh, I don't like that word. I hate boss babe. Take that out. And then put this in. What about this? You know, let's talk about this in our mission statement. So we crafted a mission statement together, and I read it at the top of every team call, just as a reminder. And I think what I've always leaned into my team with, like when we were pushing for Superstar, I believe this to the tips of my toes, that if and when we became a Superstar Diamond team, who we would be connected with, the access that we would get, the relationships, the rubbing elbows that I would get to have to be able to help the entire team. Mm-hmm. Like, there's just, I mean, you get it when you're there. Like even as an elite coach, to be at leadership and to have that training, but more importantly, to build those relationships with other elite coaches, you 100% become what you're around, and you will naturally just rise up because every conversation you're having is another level. It's a totally different level. And so, and I also really, really talk to them about like, it's who we are. We are a superstar diamond team. We absolutely deserve that title. Like, this is who we are. Your teams deserve to be an elite team. That's who they are. And when they really start to own that and they realize that it's a team effort, I really don't feel like superstar diamond. I'm not a superstar diamond coach. Like, we are a superstar diamond team that is made up of 15 diamonds. It's not me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's my responsibility to then kind of get the access and the training and the knowledge that is at that upper crust and pour it into my team. Does that help?
It really does. And I hope you guys listen to that. Think about, okay, as you're going back and thinking about what are the opportunities that you can share with your coaches. Like, I know that I feel like the fact that we're the 4-time top team in the company, I feel like that's an awesome accolade. Like, you get to write that on everything, that you get access to the 4-time top team in the company. Or I remember when I went elite my first year, it was like, oh my gosh, we are like 0.01% of the entire company. That is our team. And so she's so right about the access to resources. And so you have to think about it that way. Like, because you all make up that elite team or that premier team, you now have advanced resources, and it should be a driver not only for you to do it, but for your downline to try to duplicate that as well. So think about what you're able to provide to the team because of the goals that you guys accomplish it, and go at it from that direction. And it's less about, oh, look at what I get, and more about what we get to provide as a team together. Mm-hmm. And then I think if you're worried about what other people are going to think, or if other people are going to think you're just pushing for your own goal or your own bonus, Moira, I think you do a great job at like asking people to step up in leadership. So by asking your diamonds that advance to diamond to go in and go live and talk about it, now everybody has ownership. Mm-hmm. And it's less about you at the top just dictating this organization, and it's more about what we have grown together as a team. So I think it's all those pieces together.
Yes. Yeah. And I think to tack onto that point, I go to my diamond leaders, and I think it's because I worked for myself for 20 years or 15 years. I have such a deep desire to like collaborate and not make all the decisions myself. And I'm always fearful I'm going to make a bad one. So I really go to my leaders, and I'm constantly going like, this is what I'm thinking about. Like, I have this huge idea, but I'm not just going to implement it and be like, this is what we're doing. I'm constantly saying like, what do you guys want to do? What do you think about this? Should we do this? Should we like bring this down to the whole team? And so it's really a collaborative effort on those, myself and the star diamonds, and sometimes the diamonds. And so they really do feel that it is a team thing,
Yeah, I think that's really great. It is very great. And so I guess to kind of wrap it up, because I know it's like 10:45. So just to kind of close it out, to think about what have you done or not done that you could kind of mold your team in the right direction? So would it be creating your vision for your team, actually physically telling them the goals that you have for the organization, and seeing who wants to be a part of that star diamond or, multi-star diamond push, and kind of link arms with people and start collaborating and sharing that vision with them? And then I think just continuing to mold people together so that it is a community and it's fun and they enjoy working with one another. So, and it's not like you have to create a lot more work for yourself. It's what you're already doing. It's just taking that extra step of going in your team page and explaining it. For example, To Be Mindset, I just copied and pasted, here's my launch email. This is what I'm sending out. Here's how I'm doing it, and so it's just that this is what I'm already doing, just explaining it and empowering people to duplicate that too.
Yeah. I think, and I'll just tack this on too, although I don't want this to come out the wrong way. I talked about when my first diamond went diamond, and it was like this fear of missing out piece. That's like one of the biggest drivers on my team. I used to have my team call at 10 and my diamond call at 11. And I would literally have to say like, okay, guys, drop off if you're not diamond. We don't have it structured that way just because of schedules anymore. But everyone they would tell me once they got to diamond, like, oh my gosh, that was so hard to not be on the diamond call. And because we're still a baby team, I just decided, so I have a diamond call once a week. And I just decided to one week out of the month not do my diamond call and make it just star diamonds, 2-star and up.
Yeah.
And the rest of my diamonds are like, they want to be on that call, you know? So we have a team leader retreat once a year and a diamond retreat. So, and it's not to make people feel left out. It's that I need to talk to these leaders that are at a different place in their business about these specific things that are completely not applicable to these other coaches. And so when you create those, you know, little pockets of, and this is what's important. If everybody has really tight relationships, and say there's 4 of them that have become like really good friends and they're just really in each other's lives, just through our team, totally random, came into the team, became really good friends. And 3 of them are now on my 2-star and up call. The 4th one is like hustling because she does not want to be left out. All of her friends are in the 2-star call without her. And so that's when the relationship piece, I think people just gloss over and think it's not that important and it sounds really rainbows and butterflies. It's not. It's what drives the growth on your team. You know, the team leader retreat, like my people are like, I am not missing out on a team leader retreat. So they're hustling. Right. They're building their businesses because they want to be part of that. So that's really important.
I agree. So great tips, like really awesome tips. It definitely shows how you've taken the business from just straight sales to leadership, growing an organization, inspiring that vision. And you guys are going to get to that part. And that's the shift that you're going to have to make in order to duplicate that process. So it's really exciting. This was a great call, totally different than what we've had so far, but so relevant to where everybody is in their journey as coaches, which always evolves and changes. So I really appreciate, Moira, you being here and giving us your time. I hope you have a great time on your field trip today. Yeah,
I hope your little one feels better.
I do too. He's quiet on the couch at the moment. So yes, but thank you so much. All right, guys, go rock out the last day of our Push to Diamond group. Go crush those goals. I'll get the recording posted and hope you guys have an awesome and incredible week. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.